welcome back to this channel. This time I came back to the usual location. As you can see, this is my little studio corner, which is actually really a corner of my bedroom, and from this perspective actually it seems very professional, doesn't it? For those of you who still don't know me, I'm Silvia and I'm a children's books illustrator and freelance artist based in Italy. In the description box below you can find all my contacts and where to find me on the internet, but here in this little channel I like to share bits of my life as an illustrator, work in progress, tutorials, draw with me and insights of the illustration world. This will be a very chill video where you can follow me along the process of making an illustration. Actually, you have already seen bits of the process for this illustration because I used it as a base to talk about brushes I use every day on Procreate, and if you're curious you can check the video here. But yeah, before starting, let me say a few words, because I would like to thank all the people subscribed to this little channel. I know it's not one of those big channels with a lot of subscribers, comments and so on, but I'm so proud of my journey here on YouTube. I'm creating videos I wanted, I'm putting my face out there, trying to share what I've learned during these years and to help people who find themselves right in the same place where I was at the very start of my journey. So thank you very much for being here. It means the world to me. So that being said, let's go through the process, otherwise I can get emotional. Here we are, the iPad in front of us and a new illustration to get done. First of all, let me say that this illustration is quite old, as the footages actually, and you can see me creating my version of the beautiful Draw This in Your Style by Poopikat, aka Kate Pellerin, from July 2023. When I saw this glowy girl and hair beads, I just couldn't resist. Even if it's an old illustration, it's a dark scene one, and I absolutely love it. 2023 has been the year when I fell in love with night scenes, so I think it's the best way to celebrate the love. You can see me here sketching my version of this cute little girl. At this stage, I always use the Pencil Luna brush from the set Pastels and Pencils by MG Brushes, aka Marco Guadalupi. It really seems a pencil on paper, and the texture is just what I was looking for, since when I draw digitally, I miss the graphite texture on paper. So this brush is just perfect. I always start with a very rough sketch to define proportions, poses, and composition of the illustration. Then I create a new layer on top of it, decrease the opacity of the sketch, and then draw again on top to have a final defined sketch. It's a very relaxing moment of the whole process, but sometimes I love it and sometimes it seems just a total waste of time for me, so I skip it and start to color it. In that case, I refine the lines and the shapes directly with colors, but it's a bit challenging sometimes, so it totally depends on how I feel about the illustration. When the sketch is done, I can start coloring it. For this step, I always use the 6B pencil brush native of the Procreate app. The one I use is slightly modified in order to have a wider stroke, since I use this brush mainly to cover big areas of the illustration. So here you see me choosing colors and covering all the base shapes of the drawing. Choosing colors is one of the hardest parts of the process for me. Especially for dark scenes, you need to pick colors that are complementary in order to create the brightest combination possible. But this is not enough, since if you put yellow stars, for example, over a blue background, they don't seem so bright. This because they need the help of other colors, the analogous ones. They will create simpler combinations, but will help in the transition from blue to yellow, for example, with some violet or purple in between the two, because it's a natural gradient. But we can see this later when everything will glow.
I found somebody, I say you don't cross my mind. And she doesn't know that your favorite place is still mine. Now I take the long way home, avoid what I can't let go. I don't always think about you, but sometimes I do.
After I colored all the parts, I can start adding details and shades. I always start with cheeks and skin textures, and for this I always use the Bonobo chalk brush directly from Procreate. Look at the texture, I think it's perfect for the skin.
I don't always think about you till First Avenue, that's when I do.
For the shadows, I always use the Pencil Luna brush at its wider dimension for big areas. The texture it gives to the illustration is just gorgeous. For smaller areas and details, of course, I decrease the dimension, but I always use this one. The color for the shadow is this kind of desaturated violet, especially for dark scenes, but in general I always use this one. If you observe a real object in the space with its shadow, you can easily see that it's a cold color most of the time, because light works this way in nature. So I suggest you to stick with one color and be coherent. And this is the same thing I do when I paint traditionally, especially with watercolors. The shadows are always bluish or a desaturated violet, and the result is perfect. Of course, nobody can tell you which color you have to pick. Art is free, so use the colors you like the most. Here, there is just my way to create my art. Usually I start first with shadows and then I move to lights, but in this case I needed to understand how the light here was working, so I added some of it to the air. That are the biggest thing in this illustration. For lights, I usually use a new layer on top of everything I have to lighten up. The blending mode is add or overlay, depending on which kind of effect I need. Here I chose add. This way I could create bright parts of the air where the light is. Air are always tricky because their shapes are wavy, curly, long or short. You don't know well actually how they behave with dark and light. So it's always a bet for me and I just follow the process. Pretty challenging, but also funny. At this point, I choose the background color, and for this one, I didn't want to go for pure blue, so I chose a violet blue instead, very dark. The chunky part is composed by the hair that are mainly orange, so I choose a color which is not totally complementary, but well in opposition with the orange. This way I can have the brightest combination of colors and, in addition, the smoothest transition from orange to violet blue. But let's see the process, because as many things in this world, it's easier done than said. Here I continue adding shadows to the other parts of the drawing to get more and more depth and three-dimensionality. Shadows always help a lot in this. With textures and different gradients, you can add a lot to your illustration and make it explode. The most important aspect here is the coherence between the shadows of all the parts. Think about how light hits the wall object and visualize where shadows are placed and the amount of darkness they need. I know it's a tricky part, so to ease the process, you can also create a dummy thumbnail where you can draw roughly the shadows and the lights where you expect them to be. This way you have a guideline helping you in maintaining the coherence among all the parts. Let me also mention that for shadows, I always create a new layer on top of the part I'm working on, choose the multiply blending mode and decrease the opacity as much as I need. For lights, as I told you before, I usually use a new layer in add mode with a bright color, usually yellow or orange, and then always with the pencil Luna again. I had the lights where I think they are. This is one of my favorite parts because I can enhance details or movements and everything becomes magical for me. I really love adding lights. I'm making everything glowy and bright like the illustration by Poopikat, so I create a new layer and start the color transition from dark to light. In fact, you can see me picking from the color wheel a very light purple to start the light behind bees and other elements. I'm using the soft brush again by Procreate because it's perfect for adding natural and soft lights. The new layers here are in add or normal mode, and then I play with the opacity since I find the best result. I keep going adding colors, and this time is for the orange light. Can you see already how this improves the luminance against the dark background? The bees really look already very bright than before. Then I add also a yellow layer to finishing the transition, and I decided that I wanted the whole little girl to be glowy, so I added the lights behind there as well, always creating new layers and using the soft brush. As a finishing touch, I'm darkening the background with new layers in multiply mode and different textured brushes. I realized this is something I always do in my illustrations. At the end, I always observe it as a wall and find some improvements to make, usually darkening some parts to enhance others. we are at the end of the video. I hope you liked this draw with me session as much as I do. The illustration is a bit old, from last year actually, but I loved drawing it with all those glowy bees. And yeah, I thought it would have been a pity not to show it in a video. As usual, if you have questions or doubts, or if you want more Draw With Me sessions here on YouTube, please let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a thumb up or consider subscribing to this channel. It's free and I'm planning to upload a lot of new contents and videos in this little channel, and this will help me a lot making new videos. Thank you as always for being here and for making till the end of this video. Congratulations! Stay safe, have fun and drink water, remember, and we will see each other in the next one. Bye!